TikTok under fire in Washington. Our next guest has a unique view as a ByteDance investor. Joining us right now is Mitchell Green. He's Lead Edge Capital founding partner. And Mitchell, thanks for coming in today. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me in.
So how big of a stake do you have in ByteDance? Can you tell us?
We don't get into specifics of our investment size, but it's like a pretty material stake.
How long ago did you get in?
We first invested, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, and recently bought some more.
Okay, and this is a company that has an incredibly rich valuation if you ask anybody on the street, and just what it's going to be worth. However, what's happening in Washington right now really throws this into an entirely new worldview, I guess. What are you thinking right now?
For me, it's funny, from a headline number, people would say 200 billion, 250 billion. The company was buying back stock at 270 billion. Well, that seems crazy. However, what people should remember is 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, ByteDance is worth 200 billion, and Facebook is now, was worth 300 billion. Fast forward to today, Facebook is worth 1.3 trillion or thereabouts. ByteDance is worth 240, 250, 260 billion. Yet the companies are roughly the same size, when one's growing 3x plus faster. ByteDances is an incredible business. What people in the United States need to also remember, so first, I am not a policy expert, right? But what people need to remember is ByteDance, TikTok US is a very small part of the overall business. It is an exciting part of the story for sure, but relative, it's not profitable. And just relative to the overall size, it's a very small part. Okay, so you're looking at what happens in Washington as almost a non-issue, because even if the U.S. part is shut down or kicked off and sold, you're looking at ByteDance overall. But let's talk about the U.S. Let's talk about the U.S. business, for sure. Because right now you've got the House passing a bill that says you either have to divest or ban it. The Senate just received intelligence briefings this week, and the senators who came out of it said, wow, this is a really concerning situation. So it probably is more likely to get fast-tracked than it was at the beginning of the week. It is going to make a lot of great news headlines for the next many, many months. I think there's a lot of different ways you could see it playing out. In one way, it actually, for a potential prospect future IPO, whenever that is, a ByteDance, it actually would probably help settle some news. You would know or not know. You would just uncertainty about it actually going public. I think let's just say the Senate tried to say they voted. That's long uncertain if they're going to or not. I know a bunch of senators have come out and said, listen, maybe we should actually be looking at more like children around social media for all these websites. Yeah, but I will say, anybody who's on the Senate Intelligence Committee, a lot of other people have said the ways that they can mine your data and spy on you are eye-popping, and they are more shocked the more they hear about these things. What I will say is if the U.S. government is going to try to force a Chinese company to sell it, they better be prepared for Yum Brands and McDonald's and Apple to be thrown out of China. And because it's going to be tick for talk, right? And so I think this is going to be. I mean, I understand that. I think this is going to be a very national security is a different issue. Yeah. And if you really think it's a national security threat, I can see them throwing it out. I understand your point. You, as an investor, are saying you wouldn't sell, you wouldn't get rid of it because we're buyers. Even if the worst case, you've been buying. We've been buying recently. If it was kicked out of the U.S., we would not sell there. No, I do think there are a lot of companies in the U.S. that are extremely interested in this asset. Now, what will be really interesting is will the FTC relax some regulations to let other companies buy it? And you say to yourself, what would a company like Amazon or Facebook or Microsoft or Oracle, who already has got a huge amount of the data, pay for something like this asset? Well, Stephen Mnuchin has come forward and said that he's trying to put together a group of American investors. The one thing I can see U.S. regulators signing off on it much more easily than I can see the Chinese government signing off on this. 100%. Because if they are forced to do something, I have a hard time believing the Chinese are going to say anything. I think they'd rather shut it down and burn it down than allow American politicians to tell them. To which it should be no surprise that Donald Trump came out in support of it, because he knows the millennial vote, I think, is going to. He came out in support of it, but then I think he was kind of had his ear turned by Stephen Mnuchin, his former Treasury Secretary, who said this is better in a sales situation. We'll see. I think it's going to take a long time to play out. I don't think this will be played out by the election. But you don't have any security concerns about it? I think there are very different opinions on both sides of the aisle.
On the Chinese government and our government
Chinese
side?
government and our government, both sides.
Do you don't listen to our government with maybe a little more?
I have go look at the apps and tell me, like, you know, how much do they really care about this stuff? Who knows? Look, I obviously have not read the intelligence briefings, right? Like,
yeah, right.
No, none of us have.
Neither of us.
But I do know that, you know, people make big deals about big things, and there are senators on both sides that will support it. There are senators on both sides that probably won't. We'll see. Time will play out. But again, it is such a giant business outside of just the U.S.
Outside just the US.
Exactly.